I'm going to use a pencil and just kind of roughly sketch where my main flowers are going to be. And then my sort of vase. And then it'll be on some sort of table. Okay. So more of a limited palette here. I'll start with this. These, I guess they're palm nuts. Is what those are? First I gotta get my vase here so I know where I'm going. And then we'll tidy that up later. So we've got these palm nuts in bunches. Maybe one that's fallen. A few coming off the sides here randomly. And then I'll grab a colored pencil. This is my Prismacolor Prussian green, and then that'll give us some like little connecty things. Try not to touch my baby wipe. And then I let them dry and reuse these for a lot of things. So I get several uses out of baby wipes. Okay. Just trying to be a little bit loose and organic here. And then some of these branches. Going up to that flower. Flower that will be. And then let's work on, before we fill that in, some of our main focal point flowers. So we have these sort of black centers. A smaller one here, and then one up here. And then it's more orangey toward the middle. I almost need maybe a little bit of a red here. Let's see. Grab this one. And Mungio, just a more of a highlight. And then more of a bolder yellow that needs to be cleaned. There it is. Okay. The smaller one is going to be more of this orange here. Mix that in. So it's a little bit darker than this one. A little bit more of that orange up here. Still trying to get over this cold. Something for the pop in the middle. This is an Art Echo neon pink. Just a little something something. So again, more of these nut things here. Hanging off just so it's pleasing to your eye. Um, whoop. Well, it's soft. Okay, so that's hanging out. We want some up here. So here and there. And we'll again fill more of that in later. That black is quite prominent. Okay. So on these little stem things, I'm going to bring in more of this. What is this? I don't know. I can never read the colors on here. Naples yellow. Okay. So just kind of randomly in various shapes. Okay. And then just for a little undertone there, we'll bring this darker yellow in. Just for a little shading. Okay. Do more of this vase bottom here. And then I've got this bluish gray just for some of the shadow here. Maybe we'll go along the bottom a bit. And then we start to think about what would look nice in the back of this. Would actually be something like that. Let's see. Our Echo has a lot of nice blues. Like a periwinkle. I think that would look really nice. And then I don't know, so think about that. Just start to kind of get all this space in. We're not completed here, so I don't want to limit. Maybe a shade darker. I'll try this one from Paul Rubens. You can see is well loved, just to get a little variance. Very soft. Blend that out. I know I'm not going in the corners, so it happens. Okay, when that happens, we just Okay. Blue and yellow together. Such a happy combination. All right. So let's continue on with this. So behind this, I'm going to have some of that peek out. Just enough to give a little something. Okay. So we need more of our green now to kind of connect these. Like an olivey green. Just, you know. The idea of a leaf. Some in here. And then this is dark, so we want something brighter to kind of contrast that. And there's a Paul Rubin one that's really great for that. It's just a bright color here, which I gotta peel back some of this paper, which I find these hard to peel. I'm gonna grab some help here. Find where the, oh, that one's gonna come. A lot of these are a little bit difficult. They get stuck to that oil. Okay, so just to kind of brighten up in this black area here. And then occasionally we want to echo it somewhere else, right? So it's not just in that one spot. We need some more yellowy flowers down here, so we'll get back to this creamy yellow kind of Naples. Was that the Naples? Yeah, what they're calling Naples yellow. Then we have one more flower maybe over here we can do, a lighter one. So let's grab our black center and then more of this bigger flower, but in this lighter color. So we have a little contrasting going on there. Maybe we'll smudge out some of that in this darker shade. Okay. Back to our green, and then you just kind of build. All right, these are coming out here. Going to gotta have some greenery. And then just a tiny movement here. So we've got this, we've come down. Some white peeking out here. We want to start to also echo the white. Right. Do that. Some of these out here. Need our greenery in here. I have no idea if this is showing up correctly or if it's upside down. And then these are sort of fallen. So let's bring that lighter green. And our colored pencils help us sometimes when we're needing a bit of help there. some sort of stragglers up here. Okay. And then we're going to stop on that for a second and fill in and then finish. So it's kind of like you have to go back and forth. So I want it to be lighter, closer to these flowers, because I want the overall look to be light. And then you just have to be careful, and you can always go back in and touch up. So next to our vase should be a little bit darker. Try not to pick up that black, really wants to go all over. I don't use black a ton, but this really caught my eye. This floral arrangement. Starting to get too many black smudges here. And then if you need a little tight edge here, where you can't fit your finger in or don't want to fit your finger in, you can help or use a Q-tip. Some of that. Oh, I meant to put another little flower there, didn't I? There we go. Okay. Some lighten up. Alright. Start to merge. That black is aggressive. Okay. Okay. Bring my vase back here. And then our blue shadow. Okay. So just right now filling in the background. Try not to make too much of a mess, but you know, it's me, so it's bound to happen. You could also do an underpainting. Sometimes I do. And then, you know, you won't see the paper peeking through unless you like that. There's a time for that. Or all different styles. Oil pastels, you can do lots of different things. Just trying to make it not look too bland. And when you take the tape off, it's amazing how much it looks a little bit more natural. Smudge this a little bit here. kind of dark over here. So we layer, layer, layer until we get what we want. So now I'm going to go back in and cover up some of these spots that I smudged a little too much. We need some darker shading there because that's not sticking out enough. We can get a little bit darker right where the maybe a really dark one to go along the bottom just to kind of ground it. And then our black back on there. And you could draw on there if you've got, let's say, if you want like a pattern. Accentuate that bowl a little bit more. Like maybe it would have a pattern on there you can suggest. You know, kind of thing. Then maybe we'll grab these iridescent Senneliers. Are great. This is a great set. Could certainly use the blue here. Like that. And then maybe our super light gold to kind of every now and then just a little shimmer. Might not show up on camera very well, but in person these are really, really shimmery. And it just adds a little depth to that, to anything it touches, really. Don't want to overdo it. It's hard to stop sometimes once you start. Maybe we'll lighten up some of these. There, look at how that turned out. So a reminder about our original here. All right, let's do the peel away. Without getting stuff on there. Find where I started. Use that nice clean edge. If I can manage to keep it clean. Nope, that was not the right. I can't remember. Ooh, that washi tape's being weird. I can use that washi tape anymore. Too sticky. Yeah, a little poofah there. So that's the overall look. Let me sign it. And that's that. So we just used a couple of these and then really a pretty limited palette. And really the use of these sorts of things just can bring a lot. Just a little pop. Just the tiniest, even out here on these, just to tie in what's happening. So it's not heavy and leaning one way or the other. Yeah, fun. So this book is really nice for that. So it gives you all sorts, and it has these things on the side that give you these color palettes. If you aren't sure, you could grab your color wheel out and take a look at all of that to get what complements each other. All sorts of beautiful things in here for inspiration. So if you can get a hold of that book, that is called Flower Color Theory. All right, guys, thank you for joining me.